Hey guys, you're welcome back to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing this stylish dress that you can see on your screen. So for this tutorial, I used 4 yards of doll face fabric. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So I'm going to go ahead and mark out my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches from the center back, as you can see me doing, and I'll connect all the dots into a straight line. The next thing I'll do is to start taking my points. The first point is the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my waist point at the back. Remember, the distance from my shoulder to your waist at the back is always different from the shoulder to your waist at the front. For the back waistline, it is 14.5 inches. I indicated the 14.5 inches. On that 14.5 inches, I came down by 8 inches for my hip line. And after doing that, I'm going to rule straight lines across all those points. So I have my bust line, my waistline, and my hip line. My fabric is folded into 2 for the back, and for the folding, I have my hip circumference divided by 4 plus extra 10 inches. So the next thing I did was to take half of my shoulder measurement, which is 7 inches. I came down on that 7 inches by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'm slanting from there into the neckline area. After doing that, I'll take my armhole depth. I'm placing my tape after my shoulder slope, and I'll go down by 8 inches, which is half of my round armhole circumference. On that 8 inches mark, I'm going to rule a straight line across. Another way to get your armhole depth is to divide your bust circumference by 6, and then you add 1.5 inches to that measurement. So I'm going to connect the dots on the shoulder slope to meet the 8 inches on the chest line into a straight line. After doing that, I'll mark the midpoint of the straight line. On that midpoint, I came in by half an inch. On the chest line, I'm going to place my bust circumference divided by 4. I'll indicate that. So I'll connect from the shoulder slope to meet the half an inch, and from there to meet the dots that I have on the chest line like this. Next thing I'll do is to go in by 2 inches on this shoulder area. I want the shoulder to be 2 inches, and for the depth of the back is quite deep, so I'm going to be taking 7 inches for my back neck depth. Okay, so after doing that, I'll connect from the neck width to meet the neck depth, just like you see me doing. So you can go ahead and extend this neckline to the zipper allowance. On the waistline, I'll place my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'm going to connect from the bust line to the waistline using my ruler like this. After doing that, I'll place my tape on the hip line, and I'll place my hip circumference divided by 4. So the dress we are recreating is like an A-shaped dress. It also has a flare effect, so we don't need the hip measurement. So what I did was place my hip circumference divided by 4, and I added 3 inches to that measurement because the hip area is supposed to be free. Okay, so I'm not using my exact hip circumference. So after doing that, I connected from the waist to the hip. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to get the A shape of the base. Okay, before doing that, I'm going to mark the length of my dress, which is about 34 inches for now. The ruffles is going to complete the dress to make it 36 inches. Okay, so what I'll do now is to connect from the hip line to the end of my fabric. So it's an A-shaped dress. It also has a circular effect on the base. That is why I added 10 inches to my hip allowance. It's for me to be able to get this shape that we have on the base. So on this end, I'm going to go up by 2 inches, and I'll slant it back to the center of the dress like this. So I'm doing this to avoid any sharp edge on the base of the dress. Next, now this to adjust my zipper allowance. So I'm taking out half an inch on the waistline, and I'm connecting upward. As you can see, I also connect downward. Okay, so after doing that, guys, I'm going to add stitching allowance of 1 inch, okay, all the way, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut. So this is the back. We'll be using the back to cut out the front. Okay, so after cutting the back, we're going to keep this aside and work on the front. For the front, I'll be drafting on my pattern paper. First of all, my pattern paper is folded into 2 because, as you can see on the thumbnail, the dress has different neckline on both sides. So I'll start by taking my points. The first point is the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to my waist at the front, which is 16 inches. So the difference between my shoulder to my waist at the front, and my shoulder to my waist at the back is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to mark from that 16 inches. I'm going to go down by 8 inches for my hip line, and I'm going to roll straight lines across all these points. After doing that, I'll mark the length of my dress, which is about 34 inches, and I'll also roll a straight line across. The next thing I'll do is to take half of my shoulder measurement. On that point, I'm going to go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'll slant from there into the neckline area. After doing that, I'm going to take my armhole depth. So I'll go down after my shoulder slope by 8 inches. I'll indicate the 8 inches with a dot. On that dot, I'm going to roll a straight line across, but before I do that, I'll make sure I have the same 8 inches. Okay, and then I'm going to connect the dots on the shoulder slope with the 8 inches dots. Okay, after doing that, I'll find the middle point of the straight line, and I'm going to mark half an inch inward. On the chest line, I'll place my bust circumference divided by 4. So we're repeating everything that we did for the back. Okay, and then I'm going to connect just like you see me doing. Okay, after doing that, I'm going to take my dart. Okay, to take your dart, you're going to mark half of your nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 4 inches. I'm marking the 4 inches on the bust line on the waistline, and from the waistline I'll go down by 5 inches. I'm extending the dart by 5 inches from the waistline. So I'm going to mark the same 4 inches, and I'm going to connect into a straight line like this. After doing that, I'm going to take ½ inch on both sides of the straight line. I'll connect upward, and I'll also connect downward like this. After marking my dart, the next thing I'm going to do is to replace the dart. So if you check the picture on the thumbnail, you can see that the dart is only on one side of the dress. So instead of replacing 1 inch that I took out, I'm going to replace half of this dart. Okay, so I'll place my waist circumference divided by 4, and I'll replace one side of the dart because we are going to have the dart on just one side of the dress. Okay, so I'm replacing ½ an inch. So after doing that, I'll connect from the bust line to the waistline. The next thing I'll do is to bring in the back dress. Okay, so I'm using this bag because I want everything to align, especially on the A shape area. So I'll first of all fold in my zipper allowance, and I'll use my pins to just hold everything down. After doing that, I'll arrange it on the pattern paper. Okay, so I want to get this A shape effect that I have on the back, and I want it to be the same for both the front and the back. Okay, so I've placed my back on the front. As you can see, make sure everything aligns, and then you are going to trace out the base and also the hip area, okay, down to the waist area, just like you see me doing. Okay, so after connecting, this is what I have. The next thing I'll do is to take my side dart. So you're going to go down from the bust line by the difference between your shoulder to your waist in front and that of the back. If it is 1 inch, go down by 1 inch. If it is 1.5, go down by 1.5 inches. And if it is 2 inches, go down by 2 inches. After doing that, I went out by about ½ an inch, okay, on the side dart area, as you can see, and then I went ahead to cut out the sides. Okay, I also cut out the shoulder slope. So what I'll do is to open my full pattern paper up. Okay, so we have our full scale bodice block. What I'll do now is to extend all the lines from the other side. Okay, I'm extending the chest line, the bust line, and the waistline. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to turn my fabric to this other side that I just extended the lines, and I'm going to mark my dart leg, which is half of my nipple to nipple measurement. I'm using 4 inches, so I marked 4 inches all the way to the neckline of the pattern paper, as you can see. So I'll connect into a straight line. After doing that, I'm going to open my fabric, my pattern paper up, and then I'm going to determine my neck depth for this side. So I came down by 7 inches. That is how deep I want one side of the neckline to be. So on this end, remember I took 2 inches. I'm going to mark the same 2 inches for the shoulder on this other end. Okay, so what I'll do now is to use the curved part of my roller to connect from that 2 inches to the 7 inches, and then I'll connect from this point to the 2 inches on this end. Okay, so that is that for the neckline. on the base I'm going to go up depending on how open you want the base to be. Okay, for me I went up by about 6 inches. I indicated the 6 inches, so I'm going to connect it back to the other side of the dress. Okay, so you can actually use your free hands to do this. Okay, so just connect all the way so you give it the shape that you want. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use my ruler first of all to connect, and then I'll use my free hand to just adjust everything together. Okay, after doing that I'll go ahead and cut. So I've cut out the base and then I'm cutting out the neckline, so make sure the shoulder of the neckline is the same, and then I'm going to open this part up. So we have two pieces for the front. Okay, so after doing that, guys, this is what I have. So the last thing we'll do is to draft the sleeves. My fabric is folded into 4 because I want to cut both sleeves together. The length of my sleeves for now is 23 inches. I'm going to be adding ruffles to the base. So on this end I came down by 5 inches, and I'm going to use my ruler to slant from the tip of the other end to the 5 inches like this. After doing that, I'm going to mark the middle point of this slanted line. To do that, I'll fold my tape into 2, and I'll indicate the middle point. After doing that, I'm going to do like a C and D. Okay, so just look at the way I'm connecting on the upper part. I'm doing like a D. So this is what you can use your freehand to achieve. From the middle I'll do like a C to the end. Okay, after doing that, I'll place my tape all the way around and I'll mark my armhole depth. I'll also add allowance to it. Okay, so this is a free sleeves. The wideness of my fabric folded into 4 is about 11.5 inches. That is how wide my sleeves is going to be. So I'm just going to use my ruler to slant like this all the way, and I'm going to cut. So guys, that is all for the pattern drafting tutorial. I'll be uploading the sewing tutorial soon. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave your questions in the comment section. I'll see you in the next